the Tye Pod, hosted by your friendly neighborhood PhD.
Hello, this is the riveting and long-awaited trach episode of the Tye Pod. I am Marilyn Keller, and this is Tye Martin, and we are both your friendly neighborhood PhDs. And today we're going to be talking about all things trach related with our special brand of spiciness.
Yes, and the pink flamingo lamp.
And a flamingo lamp.
Which honestly, I think is the commemorative 50th Tye Pod episode decoration. So, yeah.
The official glowing hot pink flamingo to commemorate the 50th episode of the Tye Pod. There's also a cat house back here, a little. There's an oxygen concentrator, and then this is, for some reason, it's been on all day, but it's an oxygen
monitor.
O2, oximeter. Yeah.
Yes. All of the useful tools involved with tracheostomies.
All of the things that go along with having one of these bad boys.
Yeah.
You get to have all of these accessories that come with it.
Nicely connected to your throat, basically.
Yes, all connected to your trachea via your neck.
Very fun. Okay, so we have, I would say, an assortment of questions related to all things trach.
Yeah.
So, do you want to start with your initial trach questions?
Sure. I will start out with my question that I told you I was going to ask you. It's not really a question, it's a prompt.
Right.
Talk about the following 3 points, or one that you want to talk about most. 1, the physical impacts of having a trach, like the way it impacts your voice, independence, the way it feels, getting sick more from it. Number 2, how having a trach impacts your close relationships with your family and close friends. And number 3, how does having a trach impact your at-large relationships? And I think you figure what I mean by that.
So at-large is like generally just like day-to-day public.
Yeah, or like new relationships that you have that, you're maybe trying to establish new relationships.
Meeting somebody for the first time and you're like trying to explain all of the wonderful things. Yeah. Okay. So
talk about how fun that is.
That's very fun. Yeah. Okay. So I'll do the first little part first. So physical impact, I think for me, the biggest thing is like, there's always this tickling sensation where the trach is. And so like, I would say 80% of the day, if I turn my head or neck a certain way, or if I, change the hose that's connected to the trach a slight amount, like there's that coughing sensation. So like you're trying to talk, right? And it's just like this dry little cough that just keeps coming up, and that's really exhausting.
Does it make you gag a little too, or no?
It can, especially right now I have really bad allergies. And so like everything is amplified, like clearing my throat, and like there's more buildup than usual with congestion, all that kind of stuff, so like then you got to try to cough. And I also have an inline suction if I have to use that as well, if it's really being difficult to clear anything. So, all of those devices and tools, like if you don't have them on hand, like that's a whole nother problem. So it's, the independence thing, it feels like I'm tethered, which literally I am tethered, but also figuratively, like all the tools, all the steps to make sure that it's safe and clear, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of physical impact, I guess. And then as far as relationships, I think I'll take the general one first. So
okay.
Like, if I'm meeting somebody for the first time, it's more than likely outside of the home, and I probably would have the trach covered like I do right now. I think it's more of a protection thing, really, but it also hides it, so people don't really know that it's there. And so they're just like, oh, here's someone in a wheelchair wearing a giant salon cape. Like, why are they doing that? So they probably notice the wheelchair more at first, I think, than anything with the trach, until the alarm goes off. That's a whole different story. If it starts beeping and I'm in like a waiting room, or I don't know, like a quiet coffee shop or something, I think people automatically are like, oh, something's wrong. This person needs help. It means you're going to die with them watching, basically, is how they take it. Like,
right. But really it's just like an artifact.
And you know what? Like a lot of those beeps, and I'm sure you know it too, are like redundant, not even worth worrying about.
It's just a slight pressure change in the hose.
Yeah.
And it makes the alarm go off. And sometimes there's not even anything you can do except push silence, and then it's going to come on again. Yeah.
Like
I know.
Sometimes 30 seconds later, mine starts again.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean.
Do you have any like horror stories of like when you had to explain Luisa's trach in public at all, or anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, like, I mean, they're just like ick. I mean, one time we were at the park and this woman had my daughter with her kids, and she was like using my daughter as a prop to explain what a trach was. And she thought she was being so progressive and like like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just like, I know what this is. And I'm talking about it to my kids. And I'm like, whatever, lady.
Like one of
Get
those
bent.
stupid like model human, that they use like those plastic ones to like
Yeah,
model like this is how you like intubate somebody or whatever.
right. It's
Ugh.
like beware of
Oh,
the well-meaning idiot. That's the
yeah.
best thing ever because people everywhere have good intentions, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I say
Yes, that's the name of the episode, I think.
there you go. I was gonna say though, with the alarms, I do have a story
Yeah.
when we were at my in-laws' house, and thank gosh nobody was there anymore, and it was just my in-laws, and they were downstairs, and the Louisa and I were in a room alone, and the alarm kept going off, and I could not figure out what was wrong, and her stats were fine, and I didn't really think. I just couldn't figure out what was wrong, and I just remember the morning, like one of the brother-in-laws asking me, like, what was wrong, and you know, um, what do you do when it
Yeah.
alarms and whatever. And I just kind of blew it off and gave him like a short answer. But I was so happy that he was not there when it was going off on and on like that because I just knew like that he would have come in there and done, like tried to figure out
Mhm.
what was going on. And so that I mean that's not even really a horror story, but just the way that some people feel entitled to like even that woman using my daughter like to explain
Yeah, like they're
like
trying to fix something, but that's fair point.
but
Viewer
he does
discretion
have that
advised.
sense of like oh I'm really smart, I can figure this
Yeah,
out, and it's like sometimes you're really smart but that doesn't mean that you know something that you don't
right,
know
right.
or that
And
you can even
sometimes
just sit here and figure it out with your noggin.
exactly. And
Yeah,
like when you live with it all the time, you kind of, I mean, you get used to just all the, so it becomes just second nature. But then anybody else hears it, especially in your inner circle, and it's like, well,
yeah,
what can we do to fix it, or do we need to call an ambulance, or like, it's hard to convey that it's not a big deal when you know people don't understand kind of what's going on.
right, or just the idea like yeah I listen to that all the time, like
Yeah,
get used to it,
yeah,
get over it.
that's it's tough. And like I almost want to have like here's trait care 101 for the family or something. Like here's the, steps that you got to take if this goes wrong. And I don't know, but then that's a whole nother like you don't want to go through every single possibility
And
either.
then they won't even remember any of it anyway, Tye.
Right.
They'll be
Pop
like,
quiz.
listen, you still need this thing? You mean
Hmm.
y'all still use that?
When are you going to be done with that? Like when are you getting it
Yeah,
ready? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of covers our trach issues around people and various challenges to independence, all that kind of stuff. And I guess one final note on the close relationship thing, like it's still best intentions, especially with family, I think most of the time, but it's still just hard to relate. Like even the closest people, unless they have actually felt it or seen every single thing with it, like they can't be expected to know what to do.
Right.
So it's a difficult thing to, I think, balance.
Yeah. And I think too, like sometimes people are interested in helping,
Mhm.
which is good intentions. And then, but it just feels like it feels not, it feels icky. I don't know.
Yeah, it does. And sometimes it's harder to explain to close people than it is to random bystanders.
Oh, 100%. And just to add to that, it does hurt when you see them the next time and they don't remember or
Mm.
they, or yeah,
Yeah. Or there's
that's
something that they noticed that could have been helped, but then
I've been doing this for 6 years and you
right.
guys have been around for 6 years. Why isn't there more that you can do when I'm around
Yeah. Yeah.
that would help out with this? And then just I'm only going to say one more thing that it does, and maybe you and I have talked about this, when people that you're close to kind of act like, well, here's some advice that would make your life a
Mm.
lot easier. It's like I'm not making my life hard. It's not
Right.
because I'm ignoring simple solutions to my problems.
Right.
That can be really hurtful when it comes from people that you love. Like,
Yeah.
even though again, it's well intended.
Right. And I mean, a lot of times there's subtle reasons they might not know about for the details of how you're taking care of it, or
And they
like,
don't want to hear it sometimes. They don't want to hear those subtle reasons always because
right. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just like overwhelming to even, hear all the steps and all the considerations.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that wraps up that part of the questioning.
Yes.
So where do we want to go next? Do we want surprise random question, or I know we talked about some bringing back some "Am I the segments," which
Am I the segment?
that should trigger some people's Reddit history, I would imagine, because I think that's where that initial thing came from.
Oh
way
yeah,
back.
that does sound like some Reddit.
So we're reviving that aspect here.
This is the non-boomer edition.
Yeah, exactly. The
Trach edition of
Yeah.
Am I an
Yes. Okay. So
Okay.
how do you have ideas on which, like, where you want to go with?
Well, I guess the first one I would say is like, am I an for want to say off to like
Yeah.
a woman who's honestly trying to teach her children about a trach using my kid.
Yeah.
And I want to tell her to go jump in a lake and
Yeah.
get away
Yeah.
from my kid.
Have you ever like boiled over and actually said something like that to somebody during?
Ooh. Well, one time we were swimming at my mom's house and her neighbor came out and she's, you know, your average entitled older white lady who thinks she knows everything about raising kids and germs and education and morals and values and what have you. And she was kind of giving me like a lecture about letting Louisa swim at the beach with her trach because the water isn't sanitary.
So she's going to get like infection and like trying to tell you basically what was going to happen.
Yeah. And I mean, my mom was there, so I had to behave, but I was visibly angry and annoyed. And I just explained to her that it's not, here's another thing. A trach is not a sterile site.
No.
It's clean. You keep it clean. You sanitize the things you use, but you cannot keep this. It's like, could you keep your mouth sterilized?
Or your nose?
Like,
I mean,
or
like,
your nose or your butthole.
Yeah, exactly. Am I the surely?
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what I wanted to say to her.
Well, and
like,
you know, like the human body is not a sterile place. Like breaking news. Like
yeah.
no part of it is, you know. So it's like this thing of like having an idea that you're just this perfectly clean specimen, you know. It's just like, well, a trach doesn't necessarily, that doesn't make you more grimy or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yuck. Yeah, that's awful. Okay, so I think one of mine probably would be like, maybe some of the doctors think they're helping, but like I want to tell people off sometimes when they like say things about my disease. Hey, we have a visitor.
Hi.
Is that Louisa?
There's Louisa. Okay, we're listening to Tye. He's answering.
Yeah.
So when you have doctors talk about
your like, okay, so if they assume things. So I went in a pulmonology appointment. This is a former pulmonologist I'm glad about. But they were like, I've never seen a ventilator and a trach before. And I'm like, you think I chose that combination of equipment, like me? Or like, I was probably not even conscious when they were putting all that thing in. So I'm just like, dude, like, why would you even make a comment like that? Like, no one, like, I don't need to hear that in a doctor's appointment when he's supposed to be the expert, like pulmonologist, you know? And it's like, at the time I was still new to a trach. I'd only had it for like a few months. And it was like, don't ask me these questions.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are unfamiliar with the feeling of going into a medical facility and being treated like you're inhuman. Like
you're a test subject.
They're like, we don't know that. Like that's happened to us before too. When we've gone in to get like a trach culture or anything having to do with labs for her trach. Yeah. And they're like, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
It's like, I have a doctor's order that says to come here and do this. And then sometimes I'll be like, you give me like, do you have the trach sputum kit? Because I can do it. Exactly. And then they're like, oh no, ma'am, that's a sterile procedure. And I'm like, I can wear gloves. You don't have to be a rocket
going
scientist.
Into that sterile thing, that brought up a good point. I know that for a fact, you and I have rewashed and reused different parts of the trach, and it's fine. In the home, like I remember I was short on cannulas at the time, and it was like, well, we just had to wash and use the same one each day, and it was like, well, I survived. Like,
we've washed and reused HMEs, trach ties, vent hoses, trachs. I've boiled and reused trachs plenty of times. But even though you boil it, it's still not sterile. Like you lay it out on a towel to dry. I just put it in a regular
open air,
right? Baggie. Yeah. But like when you're at the hospital, like when she was a baby, they're like, no, you can't boil them and reuse them. You can't keep it sterile. Then how are you going to keep it sterile? What kind of bag are you going to put it in? And it's like, hey guys, if you try to keep all of those like hospital type standards, you're going to like really limit what you can do. Like you're going to spend all your days trying to live up to hospital standards.
And that's the thing is like, there's so many steps, so many things with the maintenance and the cleaning and everything every day. You're just like, if I can cut that down just one thing a day, I'm going to have 15 more minutes of like life that I can enjoy outside.
Right. And then it also cuts down on, like, I don't know about you, but like when there's like a procedure, like let's say trach care or a trach change,
or replacing.
yeah, the anxiety around, maybe it takes 20 minutes to do it or 15 minutes, but like getting it ready and then like prepping her and making sure she's comfortable, and just the anxiety around doing the procedure like feels like a lot more time. Like it feels
No,
like
it does.
all day.
Yeah. And I mean, something like a trach change, like it's not exactly painless, you know. I mean,
Right.
there's some bleeding, and there's like, what if something goes wrong where you can't get the new one through, you know, the stoma opening? Like I mean, there's all those little anxieties. Even if it goes smoothly every time, you're still like, it's there, like, you know, it could go wrong. So yeah, it's just like, I don't know, like, are we the assholes for trying to like tell off the doctors because they don't know what's up? Like, and they're the ones that should know what's going on. So just like, when you rely on the doctors to know, you know, like what the equipment's for, make sure it's put in correctly. And like, I'm not the first person with muscular dystrophy to have a ventilator and a trach. Like, that's not a weird thing. And so I'm just like, I'm at a loss when the doctors act like that.
Well, and I think, you know, you bring up a larger point of like, as far as MI and is concerned, it's like, it's the doctors, it's the RTs, it's the nurses, it's everybody that when you realize, like, when you're in a position where you're like, wow, I'm part of the population who cannot trust these motherfuckers.
Right.
Like that's my life. Like I've had to get comfortable with knowing that I cannot just take my daughter into the doctor and get an answer and get what I need. That there's going to be a ton of bullshit. Depending on where you go and who you see, there could be an immense amount of bullshit. There can be so much bullshit that you never even get the care that you're looking for.
And you leave the appointment feeling like you wasted your time because it took you all that to go. And I remember this pulmonology appointment. I was still getting oxygen at the time, so there was a tank too. So you got my ventilator, my wheelchair, my tank, going across the highway or whatever to get in the building. And like at one point, my oxygen line even popped off the ventilator, and so it's like it's a huge ordeal to go to these appointments sometimes. And you get in there, and it's like, well, let me just add some more trauma here because the specialist doesn't know what they're talking about. You know,
it's
just like,
and you have all these accessories that they can fuck around with. Oh, well, it's your trach cough, or oh, it's this, it's that, and they don't really have any kind of, they don't really have any, probably any confidence in the answer or the solution they're even offering you, because they're just like guessing around and it doesn't affect them. And, you know, again, well-meaning idiots.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not like, they're not all just like unqualified, or like, it's not, you know, a one size fits all thing, but I just feel like there's so much of that, like, and you're, I don't know if you feel that way, but like, you're bringing so many people into your life on your healthcare and everything. And it's like, how do I balance all these like personalities, and some of them don't match up, and like there's not like a synchronized medical team, you know, it's like disjointed.
Just,
how do you ever cope with that amount of garbage, just extra bullshit on top of the health issue?
I think like a lot of people don't realize how privileged they are, or how when they can insulate their life and be like, oh, I don't let people like that around my kids, or I don't, you know, we don't associate with people who do who like or whatever, you know, like, and when you're in a position like we are, you end up, you have to get used to all kinds of and there are good people in there and bad people in there, and sometimes you find a person who has some really great like vision or philosophy of home care or healthcare, but there might be things about them that just drive you up a damn wall. But they're better than somebody who you like to yap with, who's not good, who has a shitty care philosophy. So you end up having to open your doors and let a lot of people in. You have to build this tribe. You have to build your tribe.
Like my health medical squad, like, And you know, it's really annoying to have to deal with all the little minor trauma things that stack up and make it like major trauma. I mean, days and weeks and months of this kind of stuff. Exhausting. And like, I know there's going to be some out there that listen maybe to this too, and they're like, oh, you're complaining about these little tiny things. Like you should be happy they're alive and breathing and doing, well. And I'm just like, if that's the take, shut the hell up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Am I an if I say that?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
your take?
exactly.
Get
Exactly.
fucked.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how that came about. I was just like all these little things that build up, and people are like, don't sweat the small stuff. Well, it's like if you stack 100 small things together, it's a lot.
And I think sometimes people forget that at the foundation of all this small stuff that we're talking about, we're really fighting for life.
Yeah.
Not like a great life. Not you're fighting for survival. There's impending, and I hate to say this but it's true. There's impending death.
Yeah.
That's palpable that we try to laugh about it. We try to make the best of it. But that is the foundation of all of these little things. And so they're very heavy little things.
You're right. And like when that's the backdrop.
Yeah. And it really becomes your existence.
Yeah. Yeah.
It defines your existence. I love it when people are like, don't let your disability define you or whatever, which is great. Don't. But a lot of times the daily activities that come with it do end up becoming part of defining who you are. And people should be okay with that.
Yeah.
I think.
I do too. Yeah. It's just like, we fight for just quality of like a little improvement in quality of life too, and it's just like, if we could unload some of these little tiny things that seem like, minor annoyances that aren't, if you get rid of one of those, like your day is automatically a little bit better. That's huge for, I think, in this kind of community.
Right.
Yeah.
Or even having somebody that you can, like the way people bitch about the road quality in Corpus.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even have the space to do like that about the real shit that we're talking about, because people are like, ew, we just want to talk about how shitty the roads are. Like, we don't want to talk about that.
Don't you want to talk about the weather and how much it's raining?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like the minor miracle things that people sometimes like, they'll even, like pray or whatever, that can I get to work on time, or will my internet not go out, or whatever. Right. And we're sitting here like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like, let's
please
go outside.
let the internet go out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's just like the stuff that's really petty, like stupid shit. I think we kind of quickly dismiss that from our lives when we're dealing with trach care and maintenance. And like, I could get a plug in my cannula and 3 minutes later I'm choking, or like someone's rushing in with oxygen. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, it's the world's different with that lens.
Yeah. And so that leads me like to another thing, because, I'm a teacher, I work at a college, and I'm working with 2 people right now that it's just kind of like, am I an that like, I don't care why you care about that shit? Like, like that's not, it doesn't matter. Like if 2 of these things happen or if 3 of them happen, really, it doesn't matter. And I cannot get in your headspace to care as much as you do about this crap.
These trivial little things.
And that does not matter. And if it's a matter of like, well, that's, if we only do 2 instead of 3, that's going to make us look bad or something. Like, no, what's going to make you look bad is if you care about dumb shit like that. That's going to make you look bad to me.
Do you feel like there was a time way back in your life maybe that you kind of realized that some of the things that bothered you were kind of small? Because like I look back on like high school days or something even, and things I would complain about or be irritated by, and now I'm just like why was that ever even a problem?
Oh yeah, like even in my career, like before I had Louisa, because I mean I guess I would say I always thought I was pretty like smart, but I think when I had Louisa, I wisened up even a lot more. But yeah, like at my job, I would be like, oh, I can't believe I said that, or like I hope they're not mad at me. Like I hope nobody's mad at me because I said that.
Or worrying about that one little email that the tone wasn't like a certain way, or
and now I'm like, I don't like them. Like I don't wonder if somebody doesn't like me.
We have way more concerns to worry about that are actually valid than someone else's approval or whatever. So I don't know. I think it almost makes us mature very quickly, I feel like, with these kind of health. I mean, obviously with the trait for sure, and that's like whether you're a parent or whether you are the patient, like all that stuff affects us that way, I think.
Yeah.
And makes us probably question if we are too often. But then I'm just like, no, we're not. Like
exactly.
It's valid. So yeah.
And I do like, I mean, now that I don't think like that, I'm actually able to have better relationships with the people I work with.
That's a good point.
And I have made a conscious effort to try to be more honest about like my daughter and her needs, because, and you and I have talked about this in the past, I never wanted anybody to know anything because I didn't want anybody to think that I was trying to get,
Mm,
attention,
sympathy.
or that I have Munchausen syndrome. Because sometimes people are like, CCHS, what's that? Like, that's weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Like if
like,
they
I didn't
haven't heard
make
of
it
it.
up.
Yeah. Like if it's not a mainstream disease and they're just like you
I've
feel
never heard
doubt.
of that. It must not be real.
Right. Exactly.
I know medical doctors who have never heard of it. So, I mean,
Really?
oh,
Okay.
yeah.
That's bad.
Well,
Well,
it's
I
just
guess,
never, yeah, it's
yeah.
never crossed. The
Yeah.
only time it's bad is when they've never heard of it and they Google it and read like the first thing that pops up. And
Yep.
then they come in and they meet you and they
And
want
they're
to
the
tell
expert.
you all about what they just read and
Yep.
don't want to listen to. That's the
Right.
only
And
time.
why do we ever need to hear that from anybody else that's Google searched a disease? Well, that just adds more anxiety. Like, I don't want to hear someone else talk about
Yeah.
it.
And
Yeah.
the definition that pops up on Google is like way, it's pretty like, it's pretty
Yeah.
scary
I
looking.
know. I know. I mean, you know
Google,
what? That's a good point. It's like I Googled muscular dystrophy when I was like 15, and it was
uh,
like fatal. You're not expected to live past 20. And
yeah,
I'm approaching 40.
yeah.
So like, okay, Google's not the best place. Even if it is AI now, right? Like even Chat GPT is not the expert on disease like issues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And a medical doctor, you would hope,
Yeah.
would have more discretion and ability to vet whatever the it is that they're reading
Speaking
as
of, that
research.
same pulmonologist that had never seen a vent with a trach mentioned that there was a childhood treatment for MD that I could have gotten. Little did he know that was for spinal muscular atrophy, which is a completely different like type of muscular dystrophy from Duchenne, which is what I have. And I'm
And
like,
why would you even
gee,
tell somebody that, like,
thanks.
oh, there was a treatment you could have gotten when you were a
Right.
kid, but you
Right. Like,
didn't.
oh, you
Oh,
just
and by the
missed
way,
it.
that's not even a treatment for
It's not the
your,
same disease. And it's like,
yeah.
you like, why do I need to know? Like, oh, you just missed the treatment. I'm sorry. It's like,
Well, that guy sounds
mm,
like an idiot. Like, I mean, not only an idiot, but like someone who has really terrible personal skills. There's so many doctors like that.
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
what, why did, you could have been something else.
Like you
You
didn't
didn't
have
have
to
to
go
be.
into this job. Yeah.
Do you like people? Do you care about sick people? Or do you only like the people who you can get better with a pill? I don't know. Like, I don't, it's kind of like when you become a doctor, like, do people actually think about the hard part? Like, I'm a teacher and I often wonder that, like, when people decide to become a teacher, did they ever consider like having a problem student or like a kid
Yes.
who has a hard time learning or a kid who doesn't want to listen? Like, they don't want those kids.
No,
Like,
they
I don't
don't.
think a lot of doctors want people like us in their arena either, because
Yeah.
it makes them feel like a failure.
Right.
And like, it's like, do you have some kind of God complex? Like,
And
I don't get it.
I think it's accurate to say that some doctors think all they have to do is write a prescription and like that's their pathway to, like full bank account or
Yeah.
it's an easy
No,
route.
yeah.
And it's
Am I
like,
an if I
yeah,
say that 90%, 99% of the people in the medical field are there to fund their lifestyle. They
exactly.
didn't, they picked that career because of the hours, the money, the
The
income,
prestige, right? Like
the
the labor.
prestige. It
Yeah.
wasn't really like so much
I
that
want to
they
help
want to
people because they're
help
suffering.
people.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, you're right. And thankfully I have a pulmonologist now that, is completely different from that one. But
We do too. We have a
it's
really good
just,
one now.
and we're not the only ones. I mean, there are countless stories of other medical equipment, like all the ER experiences, every rare disease, like every state, like people are dealing with this stuff. Why would you have to worry about whether a doctor is going to be empathetic or whether they're going to even know what your disease is? Like,
Right.
why should we have to worry about that?
Right. I just met an RT today from our DME company who was telling me that her son has cystic fibrosis, and when he was little, he was sick for like 3 years. And every time she would try to take him in, she said like she was always treated like she was being overreacting and like being a crazy lady, a
Mm,
crazy mom. Like, oh, she said they would tell her like, you're just a new mom. You don't know, you don't know
wow.
what you're doing. And
Like, thanks
finally
for the
she
judgment.
yeah, and finally she had taken him into an ER, and someone there noticed. I think there's like a particular smell or something that sometimes kids will have because they are lacking an enzyme to like that breaks down a lot of things that they
Oh,
eat, and
yep.
so it kind of comes out of their pores like a
Yeah.
sweet smell or something. Anyway, that's how she ended up getting him tested for that. But yeah, 3 years went by of her being gaslighted by doctors and nurses.
Yep. And that still is a thing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people want to talk about like healthcare, and like a lot of times I think when people speak of it, they're talking about it in terms of like access and how much money we have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of times we forget that part of the most foundational part of that access is being heard, to where, you know, we can talk about people not being able to get into doctors' offices or not having access to like abortions or other types of healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
But we also need to talk about the fact that even those things that are available, when you do get in the door, and those things that are not restricted, you still are limited in access if people won't listen to you.
Right. Right.
And that is something that is phenomenally occurs in our country in all types of fields of work, police work, teaching, education, medicine, you
like,
know.
I mean, some of the most important, essential like jobs in society. And this is everywhere. Like
Right.
it's a common thread that no one listens to any,
Yeah.
like it's just assumptions.
People,
And it's
yeah. And people have assumptions and judgments, and
right.
they hang their hat on them. They'd
So
rather hang their hat
basically
on that than
we're
listen.
turning it around saying, are they the for doing that to all of these patients? Like,
They should.
and I mean, like I know med school like there are challenges to go through, but I'm just like, what if the emphasis was placed on some other kind of training when they're
I'm
getting
sure
ready?
they have to take like one class on equity.
And then
or
it's
something.
like memorization. Like, is that the only other thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's yeah. It's unfortunately it's still. I mean, it seems like it's growing. Actually, it seems like it's happening more frequently. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I don't know if it's happening more frequently for everyone, but
maybe not, or maybe we're just
I think
seeing
if you want like Ozempic, ADHD
Here we
medication,
go.
or some type of bipolar medication, you
Yeah.
can get it.
Yeah,
But I don't know about anything else.
and maybe the occasional opioids. Like those are still the thing. But,
Oh yeah, you can get some opioids, especially if you're, you know, white, I guess. I don't know.
fair point. Yeah, that's a white person's drug.
I guess, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that yeah. Hopefully, I don't know. I think it helps to just kind of vent this kind of stuff out there too.
I mean, it helps us.
That's true.
I hope that someone in the audience feels some type of resonance with us.
Yes. Well,
yes.
I mean, I don't want to assume, but I'm pretty certain there's going to be at least a few.
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I think we did have some kind of like fun random question thing we were going to do, but did anything come to mind? Any funny? I don't know. Funny's not the right word.
Are we doing a funny trach story?
Any amusing trach story? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you have one?
I was trying to think of something like, is there like a part of any part of trach care that is like, I don't want to say positive, but like is something maybe you get something good from, if that makes any sense?
When Louisa was a baby, I had a nurse, and she's a good friend of mine. And honestly, I considered like cutting her out of my life because she is sort of a supporter, but
yes.
She also understands my needs and my life better than anyone else on the planet. And she spent more time with me and my daughter learning what we need than anyone on the planet. So I love her. And when Louisa was a baby, we used to wrap her up and we would sing the Ants Go Marching every time for, I swear to God, like 2 years, every day from the day we brought her home. And because we would swaddle her up until she was about 2. And then it was like, okay, she's too old for that now. But we would swaddle her up, and Tammy would hold, kind of sing to her and hold her trach in, and we would just sing it. And it was like a routine, and we sang it every time. And by the time we were done with the song, we'd be done with trach care. And it just was kind of a nice memory. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you need those useful distractions when you're doing some of these like daily treatments or whatever.
Right. And it's kind of like, there are things about raising a baby that I don't know anything about because I didn't do them with my kid.
Right.
But like, I do have those sweet, like that's a sweet memory. Like that's actually a sweet memory. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally get that. Like I can think of sometimes too with like pronouncing some of the words of the different pieces that go with the trach. Like when you're replacing it, like there's the obturator, which is a device to help you, put the new trach in. So we would like mess around with all the.
Here's the obturator.
Exactly. See, we're doing show and tell also.
Show and tell.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's things like that, and I was trying to think just all that wordplay. I know that we do that a lot. Yeah, but it almost just seems like there's that 15, 20 minute a day trach care where it's like you're watching something or listening to music. Like it's just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a random activity probably to most people, but it feels like that's something that you just time spent daily with, I don't know, with family or whatever on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And it's
Like family time.
some lightness to it, even though it's, again, like there's that backdrop of, it's the life-threatening thing that's, could be right there waiting, but
Right. And like, but I mean, you bring up a good point. Like, we do things like in society, we think of like a family coming together to do something, to accomplish something, or to overcome a challenge as being such a beautiful and amazing thing. And we
inspirational.
do it daily.
Yeah.
And sometimes miss like the point of that being, yeah, like actually family working together and working through challenges.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, those could be like the short daily challenges that, are involved with all the trait care stuff. It's like, I
Yeah.
don't know, it's a different lifestyle that we have when that is present.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything changes, and the passing of time and everything is impacted by it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's the crib time thing that I just learned
Yeah.
about recently.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
we have different needs and schedules, and a lot of times I don't sleep at night because Lisa sleeps on a ventilator, and I still get up and go to work every day.
Yeah.
And, the other night our smoke alarm battery was going out, and then that was going off, and it was
Another
just like,
alarm.
yeah, another alarm. And then I get up and I go to work, and my students are like, I have cramps, I can't come to class. And I'm like, okay, I wish I could.
But
I
then
don't
you're
wish I could say that
then
online,
you're
but
expected to be sympathetic to them, right?
yeah.
Because you're the professor. Like that means something different.
Yeah. Or, I mean, it doesn't bother me. The only thing that really annoys me, and you probably can relate to this, is when a student is like, email me and tell me what I missed. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Oh
No,
yes. I relate to that one.
I will not even respond to
Or the
LA.
one that like before you're even into a topic, they ask you, is this hard? And I'm just like,
Yeah. Or I love, am I going to miss anything important today?
yeah,
Like, way to
right.
insult me. Like, okay, no,
Yeah, like,
nothing important.
yeah.
Doesn't.
I'm just up there like the Charlie Brown teacher, like just speaking just like sounds.
I
Yeah.
just love this crap. I mean, I guess I kind of do, but
Yeah. But also, like, I just really think too that it shows like, yes, you can have all that health stuff, but you can still like do the job that you want to do, that you're passionate about doing. Like, yes, there's more exhaustion and more, stuff on your plate all the time, but it's still possible.
And I think the more I get into this job, because I have
Yeah.
set a foundation of being more open and honest with my coworkers, that I want to lean on crip time a little more. Like, I want to be like, I cannot do that until 9 a.m. You cannot ask me to be somewhere at 8 a.m. Like,
Right.
I can't do that. And I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
Yeah. It takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at times I wonder about delving back into the world of academia, but then I'm just like, I can find a balance still, maybe where that's still some of that's here. Like,
I think you have some of that still going on. And
yeah.
like, we have our research that we do that we're going to do more.
You know what? And that's a positive too, right there, is like publishing the first paper. Well, it's not published. Hopefully published soon.
It's in review.
Yeah, like without a university affiliation and like not in biophysical, like molecular simulations. It's in a whole different field from where I started. But again, having the PhD, having that experience, it gives you the tools to do that kind of thing. I mean, like,
Right.
Like to pick a whole different field of study, and like obviously, I'm not even close to familiarized with all the terms and all the background theory. Like you obviously are, and critical like society studies and things like that, right? Like or critical disability studies. Like you have
just through like the work I do with you, or like the stuff
Yeah.
I've done with Sarah. Like, I don't really get that's a labor of love, really.
Right. But don't you think
Yeah.
like the PhD training almost like gets us ready to pivot like that?
Or do you ever think, oh, here's an am I an ass? Do you ever think, Tye, that we're just so fucking smart?
Yeah, I do.
That, I mean, this is like, okay, like, yeah, I have this other PhD, but like, I can totally rap with the scholars over here.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's like a secret PhD club or something. Like you're just automatically like, I can hop over here and socialize with these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so another positive, this isn't really a funny thing, but I say, like, I don't know if it's a positive. It's a thing, we'll say.
It's a
That
thing.
I always say, like, having Louisa has given me like this secret set of lenses,
Mm,
like I can see more stuff. It's like that movie where the guy gets I can't even think, they live and he can see people like as what they really are, like these aliens and stuff. Like
yeah, yeah.
it's like you get a backstage pass to life.